So here's my first try at printing some calibration towers. I started off with a temperature tower, a retraction tower, and a flow tower. This is for TPU because I'll be printing a lot in TPU material with the Ender 5 Pro, stock hot end, and the metal extruder. It's not the most ideal way for TPU printing, I'm well aware of that, but we're trying to make the best of it. So I've got the temperature tower here. I've started it off with a brim, as you can see. I had already detached it, but I'm seeing an interesting progression in the brims, so I kept it. As for the temperature, well, the filament TPU advises to use 225 to 250. We print these at work at 230 or 235 with the Ender 3s, and it delivers an amazing print. But on my Ender 5 I'm having some issues. Okay, yeah, TPU isn't ideal for overhangs. I'm just gonna turn off this extra light. Maybe it's better that way. But as you can see, 230 up to 210, and it looks fairly similar all throughout. Yeah, the overhangs are a mess, so I should maybe just cut these out and look at the towers. So if you look at the sides, it looks fairly similar as well, although I'm guessing over here we have some issues, a little bit maybe. Let's have a look at the back. Very odd, this stringing over here. Maybe a sort of over extrusion. It looks to be less on the 225. And then the side, yeah, it's pretty difficult with the shininess. But also I think the 225 looks kind of the best. So I set it to 225. This is with a 50 degrees bed temperature as well. So we set it to 225. Then we went on to do the retraction test. That one had, I think, a stock retraction for TPU. Don't mind my dirty fingers, have been working on my car recently. So we have a bit of stringing at the top end here, and again, very weird how it prints this in TPU, the flow, no, the retraction. But then again, if we look at where this is the least, it's about 4 to 5 millimeters. We could try a lower retraction, but then if I'm looking here at the bottom of the 4, this is where the letters are, so we should maybe ignore this bit. If we look at the back, we have, starting from 6, we have these defects showing up, which we don't at the 5. We do have at the bottom of the 4. So yeah. I think the factory setting was at 6.5 millimeters, so I lowered it to 5. And then we did the flow test. Before I did all these, I calibrated my E-steps on the extruder, and they came out to like 106. So I followed a guide on YouTube where they used a 10 centimeter extrusion length and just measure it from the bottom of the extruder up to 10 centimeters, and that's how I set it up. So I measured the difference, added that to the E-steps, and then set the E-steps to 106. I also did 2 prints. I'll try to put a picture in the comments as well, because I was having, I think it's under extrusion, although this TPU filament hasn't been dried yet, so that might also be the cause for this brim. However, when I set the E-steps now, and I did the flow up to 110%, we got this kind of brim on the flow test. So I'm guessing the bottom of the flow test, the brim, it will use the TPU settings I put in. Then it started with the flow test, and this is what the flow tests look like. So again, on the back of the print, or yeah, this is actually the front of the printer, because it printed it like this, very odd, but okay. So this is on the front of the printer. This is, yeah, odd behavior, I think, but yeah, whatever. Again, we have some bridges, so don't mind the middle parts. The front here you can see. So we have the flow numbers here, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 115%. So clearly 115, again with the letters on the bottom there, we have some issues. When we look at the side over here, we have these kind of defects. Even at 100 we have somewhat of a defect right there. Same at 95. At 90 it doesn't seem to be there, but I can feel, yeah, I can see something on the side over here. This is what it looks like, and then back to the back. So yeah, I can't really tell a difference. Besides, if we look at these defects, then 100% might be the best still, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Over here, all of these have like a little dot in them on the top. Yeah, all in all, the print looks decent, but it can do overhangs, and empty spaces will always string on TPU with an indirect extruder like this one. It's not a direct drive. Tell me what you guys think, but for now I'm gonna use the 110%, 225 on the hot end, 50 on the bed. Is there anything else? A 5mm retraction with the stock, I think it's 25 millimeters a second, something like that speed. I did not print a speed test yet, but TPU isn't a very speedy material to print with, so I'm just gonna stick with 25 millimeters a second, and we'll see how it goes. And then next time I have some PETG in from Fiberlogy to do this same tests with, and I also have some basic filament PLA and some Fill 3D PLA, yeah, some basic PLA from my supplier. I also have some Fiberlogy TPU, but I think it's more stretchy than this filament stuff, because I could not make a decent print with it. So I tried the battery box, which came out alright with the red stuff, and this is what it did with the yellow Fiberlogy TPU, which is a it's not a 95A, it's like a 70D hardness, so it's completely different. I need to recalibrate everything. And I also have some PTG carbon fiber, which I did do a print with before. And this was a 20-hour print. It was for a airsoft gun for a friend of mine. I printed it upright like this. And somewhere along the line, yeah, don't look at the waviness and the shiny bits. I took a heating gun to it to check what the finish does or how heat resistant it is. But somewhere along here, this is the last thing it printed. It was meant to be like this much longer. After 19 hours, it stopped printing because it clogged the hot end, I think. This material minimum temperature is 260. And the hot end on the standard Ender 5 only goes up to 260, so I think I should have printed it a little bit hotter, although the extrusions seem fine. It's only on the... I had some issues on the overhangs here, because I wanted the outside dimensions to be actual correctly. Because it needs to mount some attachments to it, so I printed outside in, and yeah, I think that's why they sagged a little bit, because they were printing upright like this. So I need to pay attention and print inside out. All in all, it looks decent. It's decent part. I dropped it, that's why I heated this up to see if it could stick it back together as well. But it's really solid piece. I don't know if I can snap it. I don't want to snap it, but okay. Yeah, so far our temperature towers, or our testing towers. Let's go and try to redo one of the prints I made earlier which failed, and see if it manages to print that one now.